Hey, it's Mark here, and welcome to the next video in the journey towards creating your own brand using the BrandDIY process. How did it go with the last video, crafting your USP? Did you figure out how you could actually claim a niche of that big pie market by putting together a simple statement? What I do better than anybody else in the world, why I do that better, who that's important to, and why that's important to them. I hope you tried it out, started writing a few things down, and it started gelling in your head. I could own this, and I could own that market. Well, today I want to move on and talk to you about the next chapter in BrandDIY, which is the brand story. I know. Stories are probably the most used and abused thing today in business. Everybody wants a story, but I have seen almost every client that I work with kind of choke up and go, how do I put a good story together? How do I tell an effective story? Well, BrandDIY goes into that in some detail. But today, in the spirit of keeping things simple, I want to give you just a few sentences that you can use to start crafting a powerful story. Ready? First sentence. What was the world like that you were living in before coming up with the idea for your business, product, service, brand? What was the world like? Now, it's important that this sentence say, the world was a decent enough place, but there seemed to be a gap, something missing, something wrong. Second sentence. What was the thing that was wrong? What was the thing that was missing in your world before you had the idea for your brand, business, product, service? Third sentence. What made you wake up one morning and go, I'm going to fix that problem? Or I'm going to seize that opportunity? What was it that snapped? That one momentous occasion that made you go, I'm going to take this on. Darn it all, it's time somebody did something about this. The next sentence is, what are the problems you encountered along the way while you were building up this idea into a business? Now that might actually take 2 sentences or 3 sentences, but try to keep it short. Most of the problems you say, I hit supply chain issues, I hit employee issues, I hit brand development issues. Well, obviously not anymore because you're doing BrandDIY. I hit operational issues. So you can keep it short. The next sentence, what did you do to solve those problems? Well, I figured that I had to make things simpler, I had to keep things cleaner, I had to hire the right people. Go into a very brief description of what you did. The next sentence, where are you today? What is this beautiful, wonderful thing that is now your business? Give us one sentence. Tell us what that looks like. Today, the business is wonderful. I've got 1 employee and we're putting out 25 of these products and the future looks bright. Final sentence. What does the future look like? What's down the road? Now that I've solved this problem and I've created a brilliant company and product and service, I'll tell you what we're going to do next. We're going to take on that problem. All right? So that's your brand story in a series of short sentences. Give it a try. Write them down. Again, those sentences are, what was the world like before I had this business, product, service? What was the problem that was not being solved or the opportunity that was not being seized? What made you wake up one day and say, darn it, I'm going to fix that problem? What was the trigger that got you going on this business? Next, talk to me about the journey of building up this business, the problems that you encountered. Next, give me a sentence that talks about how, in a short, 1 sentence preferably way, you solve these problems. Next, talk to me about where your business is at today. Finally, talk to me about where you think your business is going to go now that you're successful here. Now, If you don't want to do this work, I'd be happy to talk about it with you. You can, as I say, jump the line by clicking the button below and just booking a time with me. Like I said, I'm happy to do that. However, I do encourage you to go through these videos, culminating in getting the BrandDIY books, because it is a great journey. It helps you understand how to build an effective brand, and it gives you that feeling of momentum that you're doing it yourself. Look forward to talking to you in the next video.